66, so here we go. Remember, we're in the fuel economy section, and your fuel economy formula is given. I'm just going to say this, and some of you might be upset at me right now because I made you copy it down. But the formula sheet, if you ever realize you don't have it, they kind of have the fuel economy formula right here. I still like to have it on my study sheet. Just because you make a little note, always state it in liters per 100 kilometers, all those things, right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, so we have an odometer that shows the kilometers the car traveled. When Julia filled up the gas tank, this is what the odometer read. And then after driving around and wanting to gas up again, you realize, right, so this is your start, and this is your end. This is the best way to check your fuel economy on your car, by the way. This is what I do. I don't trust the system on my computer, on my dashboard. This is the best way to do it. So calculate Julia's fuel economy if she filled up 45 liters. Okay, so we're going to go like this. Fuel economy requires the liters, okay, it's 45. And the denominator, it's going to look a little ugly. But I think you're going to understand what's happening here. What is happening down here? I'm figuring out the distance I've traveled, right? So if you subtract your end and your start value, you're going to figure out the kilometers you've traveled. So yes, my formula looks weird, but you'll be fine. So that amounts to, right, 45 liters. I'm going to clean it up now. I'm just going to subtract the denominator here. And that is 345.8 kilometers. And you multiply that by 100. So you go 45 divided by 345.8. So 13.01, and then just slap on the liters per 100 kilometers. Everything gets rounded to 2 decimals, okay, in this unit. And in this course, I would say, there's one exception, but we'll not talk about it until we get there. So 13 liters for every 100 kilometers you drive on average. This obviously is going to change. If you're just sitting in the parking lot and idling, your fuel economy is going to go up significantly because you're not moving. You're burning fuel, you're not moving. Right? This part right here is literally staying zero as you're burning fuel, right? So that's like the worst thing you can do. Total cost of fuel. If fuel costs $1, this is outdated obviously, but gas prices change all the time, okay? During COVID, it was like 60 cents a liter at one point, right? So I can't keep up with the price here. But the cost of fuel, how much would it cost you? It has to do with the liters you've fueled up and this price. So cost is honestly just liters times the price per liter. Never add taxes to fuel, okay? No tax added. And the reason is, don't be thinking, oh, no taxes on fuel. You pay tons of taxes. But the price you see at the pump is already taxed 1,000 times. I'm just exaggerating, but the province gets a cut, the city gets a cut, everybody gets a cut from that price right here. So cost would be 45 liters times, in this case it's $1.209 per liter. So when you multiply that, just got to be careful. So you got to round properly, right? So that's 54.41 dollars. So that's how much it would cost you to make that fill up, right? Did you know that you're not supposed to sit in your car when you fuel up? Did you know that? Technically, the person in the store, they can like turn off your pump if you do that. I learned that the hard way the other day. It was like minus 40, super windy, and I was like, okay, whatever, because the person in front of me did it, and they shut us down. No go, right? Anyways, 2018, this is on page 67, a 2018 Toyota Tundra has a fuel economy of 12.3 liters per 100 kilometers. I would say anything over 10 is kind of high. Okay, guys, in general, if you're shopping for cars, anything over 10 is kind of high-ish. That's what people would consider. I have a truck, so mine is like 15.5. Anything under 10 is like your little sedans, your Toyotas, right? Like they usually use less than 10 on average. Obviously, that changes if you're idling. It changes for various reasons. If you go back to the 80s or to the like 70s, 15 liters per 100 kilometers, that's a joke, right? They were burning like crazy. Like they weren't efficient at all. But for now, the standards now, I would say anything over 10 is kind of like on the higher end. But then it gets crazy. If it gets close to 20, then you're like really heavy. And so if you can stay under 10, if you're young and you like to cruise, you want to find a car that's like under 10 if possible. It's not always easy, but you can go and Google it, right? Type in your car, your model, what's the average fuel consumption, but then always remember it's going to be a bit more for Winnipeg because we have like winter, right? Not winter like Florida winter, but like snow and all that jazz, right? So it's going to be more. Stop talking, just do this already. Got it. So the fuel economy is given. Are you going to calculate it? No, right? It's already there. So that means that you're going to have to calculate something else. So if you make a 375 kilometer trip, what is the cost of fuel if it costs this much per liter? What do we need to figure out the cost of fuel? We need the number of liters, correct? Okay, so find number of liters using your fuel economy, okay? I don't know why there's an exclamation mark, but hey, we'll go with it. So I take the fuel economy and I actually set it up as a fraction like this, okay? So you're not calculating it, you're not using that formula, but you're setting up a proportion. You're saying, hey, if I know this about the car, I bet I can figure out more. So we're making a 375 kilometer trip, right? So that will go down here. And so you're going to figure out the number of liters first. So that's what? Cross multiply, up in this case, divide. So multiply, divide. So 375 times 12.3 divided by 100. That gives you 46.125 on the calculator. This is where I would say, I'll say this. If it's not money, listen carefully. If it's not money, you can actually round to more than 2 decimals as long as you do it correctly. When I type this in, I get exactly this on my screen. So to be accurate, I'm actually going to keep it that way. Okay? So now we're going to figure out our cost. Cost is 46.125 liters times $1.209 per liter. Okay. So this is probably a 3-mark question right here for the province. They would give you 2 marks for figuring out how many liters. This one right here would give you 2 marks. And this part right here would give you another mark. So just to kind of know, if it's like this, it would be a 3-mark question. What they like to do is they like to do A, figure out how many liters. B, what's the cost? So even if you mess up here, you can still get the mark for this part where you take whatever you got here and multiply it by the price per liter, and there you have your cost. Okay. One more, and then you're on your own. Okay. So a Honda Accord has a fuel economy of 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers. So the fuel economy is given. If you use 32 liters for a recent trip, what distance did you travel? Start with this every time. 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers. If anything else, if you're forgetting everything else because it's Friday and you're tired, when you have the fuel economy and they ask you something, start with that. Set it up like this, and then see what needs to go on the other side. They give you liters, correct? So since liters is on top, you keep it that way. And then you make this your unknown. The kilometers driven with this many liters, you will find out. So you cross multiply this way and divide. We're going to do a lot of this in this course, cross multiply and divide, so get really good at it. And I'm guessing you are already good at it. So multiply, then divide. Show your work like this. And you get 730, no, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. 351.65 kilometers. And now I'm going to send you to, I don't want you to just do, I'm going to send you to page 69. It's just a number. 69 to 70. However, I want you to really get to the part where, like question 7, this one is trickier. 7C. It requires you to do multiple fuel economy calculations and then find the savings between cars. So I need you to figure that one out. Got it? I'm going to come around. If you want to keep going, the answer key will keep going. Okay? And, hold on. There's always an and or a but, right? I want you to copy down You got this? Copy 3 things from page 68 to your study sheet. It's operating costs. You want to go with me there? Let's go to 68 real quick. The province is going to ask you, hey, what does it take to operate the vehicle? Like, give me some operating costs. You can pick any of these, but I would say have at least 3 on your study sheet. So it's like an oil filter replacement, that costs money. That's an operating cost. Wheel alignment, rust proofing. I will explain them maybe later when we have time, but just make sure you have 3 of these. Otherwise, for some reason, I think you just got it, but you don't own cars yet, so you don't know, right? I change my wipers every year because the wipers, with the winter and everything, they just do a terrible job at clearing my windshield after a year. So it's like 20 bucks, brand new windshield wipers, right? So things like that, to operate the car, this is what I do on a regular basis. This is what came to mind for me, right? So at least 3 of those on your study sheet, okay? So it seems like you're doing okay with fuel economy. That's my sense. So once you're done that, and remember to have 3 operating costs on your study sheet. You go to page 58. So I'll actually do this in the front of the booklet. I'll go to the front of the booklet, right at the front, and I'll just say quiz review. Because let's face it, if you just write it down anywhere in the booklet, you're not going to find it. Page 58 to, I believe it's 60. Yeah. Got it? 58 to 60. I'll post the key. So then you're reviewing new, you're reviewing depreciation, you're reviewing used, all of those good things. All right?